Simone Biles is far more than the most decorated gymnast in history. With 11 Olympic medals and 30 World Championship medals, she has achieved what few athletes could ever imagine. Yet her story is about much more than records and trophies. During the Tokyo Olympics, in a nearly silent arena, she experienced a frightening loss of spatial awareness while performing a vault. Instead of risking a serious injury, she made the difficult decision to step back from competition, choosing her safety over the enormous expectations placed upon her. That moment became one of the strongest examples of courage in modern sports. Long before she became a global icon, Simone faced hardships that no child should endure. Born on March 14, 1997, in Columbus, Ohio, she spent her early years in an unstable home where food, care, and security were never guaranteed. Her biological mother struggled with substance abuse, leaving Simone and her siblings without consistent support. Eventually, social services placed the children into foster care, forcing them to adjust to unfamiliar homes and uncertain futures at a very young age. Everything changed when her grandparents, Ron and Nellie Biles, welcomed Simone and her younger sister into their home in Texas and later adopted them. Their love, stability, and guidance gave Simone the foundation she had always needed. During a daycare field trip to a gymnastics center, coaches immediately recognized her natural athletic ability. That single visit introduced her to the sport that would transform her life, setting her on the path to becoming one of the greatest gymnasts the world has ever seen. As Simone's talent continued to grow, gymnastics became more than just a hobby. It became the place where she found consistency and purpose. Under the guidance of Coach Amy Borman, she focused on mastering technique before attempting the sport's most difficult skills. Her training schedule became increasingly demanding, eventually leading her family to choose homeschooling so she could dedicate more time to elite competition. Every practice session strengthened not only her physical ability, but also the discipline and confidence that would define her career. Despite her remarkable potential, Simone's journey was not free from setbacks. At the 2013 U.S. Classic, she struggled with mistakes on multiple events and left the competition disappointed. The experience revealed that talent alone would not be enough to succeed at the highest level. Determined to improve, she began working with a sports psychologist to develop mental strategies that helped her stay focused under pressure. Those lessons allowed her to recover from mistakes instead of letting them control the rest of her performance. The results came quickly. Just a few months later, Simone captured her first U.S. national all-around title before making history at the 2013 World Championships in Antwerp. At only 16 years old, she won the all-around gold medal along with additional medals on several apparatuses, announcing herself as one of the brightest stars in gymnastics. That breakthrough victory marked the beginning of an extraordinary career that would soon reshape the sport and inspire millions around the world. Simone Biles entered the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro carrying enormous expectations, but she delivered one of the greatest performances in gymnastics history. Competing alongside a talented U.S. team, she helped secure the team gold medal before dominating the individual all-around competition. Her routines combined extraordinary power, precision, and confidence, allowing her to outperform the field by a remarkable margin. She went on to win gold medals in the all-around, vault, and floor exercise, while also earning a bronze medal on the balance beam. By the end of the Games, she had collected 4 Olympic gold medals and established herself as the undisputed face of modern gymnastics. Although her performances looked effortless to millions of viewers, every routine was built on years of relentless training, sacrifice, and the mental strength she had developed after overcoming earlier setbacks. Following her unforgettable success in Rio, Simone stepped away from competition to enjoy life outside the gym. She published her memoir, appeared on television, and finally had the opportunity to slow down after years of intense preparation. However, her passion for gymnastics never disappeared. When she returned to training in 2017 with coaches Laurent and Cecile Londa, She was no longer trying to prove she belonged among the world's best. She was returning because she still loved the sport. Her comeback was immediately tested when she suffered severe pain caused by a kidney stone just before the 2018 World Championships in Doha. Despite the physical discomfort, she chose to compete and produced another unforgettable performance, winning 6 medals, including 4 golds. Her ability to perform under such difficult circumstances demonstrated not only her incredible physical talent but also the determination and resilience that had become defining characteristics of her career. By 2019, Simone was no longer just winning competitions, she was redefining the sport itself. She introduced groundbreaking skills that few athletes could even attempt, including new elements on the floor: exercise, balance beam, and vault. Several of these moves were officially added to the code of points and named after her, ensuring that her influence would remain part of gymnastics history forever. These achievements highlighted the gap between Simone and the rest of the field, as she consistently pushed the limits of what was considered possible. Yet with every new record came even greater expectations. Fans, judges, and the media began to view victory as something automatic, creating enormous pressure before every competition. While the world celebrated her seemingly impossible routines, few realized the mental and emotional burden of carrying those expectations every time she stepped onto the competition floor. That invisible pressure would eventually become one of the biggest challenges of her remarkable journey. The next major chapter of Simone Biles' career unfolded at the Tokyo Olympics, where she arrived as the overwhelming favorite to dominate the competition once again. Expectations had reached an unprecedented level, with many believing she would easily add several more gold medals to her collection. However, the atmosphere inside the Olympic arena was unlike anything athletes had experienced before. Pandemic restrictions meant there were very few spectators, creating an unusually quiet environment that felt unfamiliar to many competitors. Even during the qualification rounds, Simone sensed that something was different. Although she still qualified for the finals, several routines lacked the confidence and precision that had defined her previous performances. Small mistakes began to appear, including stepping out of bounds during her floor routine and struggling with her landing after a vault. These errors were unusual for an athlete known for near-perfect execution, but at the time, few people realized they were early signs of a much deeper challenge. Simone herself later admitted that she couldn't fully explain what was happening. She simply knew that something inside her mind and body no longer felt completely connected. Everything changed during the women's team final. Simone sprinted toward the vault intending to perform one of her signature high-difficulty skills, but the moment she left the vaulting table, she suddenly lost her sense of direction in midair. Instead of completing the planned number of twists, she instinctively stopped early and barely managed to land safely on her feet. In gymnastics, this frightening condition is commonly known as the twisties, a loss of spatial awareness that makes even the simplest movements extremely dangerous. For an athlete performing flips and twists several feet above the ground, continuing under those conditions could lead to a catastrophic injury. After speaking with her coaches, Simone made one of the hardest decisions of her career. She withdrew from the remaining events to protect her physical safety and mental well-being. It was a decision that shocked millions around the world. Some people praised her honesty and courage, while others questioned why an Olympic champion would step away during the biggest competition of her life. Despite the criticism, Simone remained firm, explaining that no medal was worth risking permanent injury or losing control of her own body. Over the following days, Simone focused entirely on recovery instead of competition. She withdrew from several individual finals and returned to basic gymnastics training in a private practice facility, carefully rebuilding her confidence one movement at a time. Rather than forcing herself back into dangerous routines, she patiently waited until she felt safe enough to compete again. When she finally returned for the balance beam final, she made an important adjustment by removing the twisting dismount that no longer felt secure and replacing it with a simpler skill she could perform confidently. The strategy paid off, earning her the bronze medal. Although it wasn't another gold medal, Simone later described it as one of the most meaningful achievements of her entire career. It represented resilience instead of perfection, wisdom instead of pressure, and courage instead of fear. Tokyo became much more than an Olympic competition. It became the moment Simone Biles showed the world that true greatness is not measured only by victories, but also by knowing when to protect yourself, accept your limits, and return stronger than before. After Tokyo, Simone Biles focused on healing instead of rushing back into competition.